Today is Deer Hair Diver Day. So let's get started. Let's get started here. Hooks. I think we're gonna do smaller divers. This is a good size. I like the smaller divers rather than the bigger divers. Early summer, the late spring, the smaller diver, I think performs better. And then the color combo that I like, orange and black. Orange and black is a winner in my book. So we'll do some orange and black divers. I don't think they need super long legs. So we'll do some smaller Grizz hackle for the legs, 2 on each side. And then maybe not even a collar, just through the legs. And then one rubber leg. I think that'll be enough. I think the size is important, like a smaller profile. And then I think the bass are eating it as more of a terrestrial than say a frog. It's kind of like a small, maybe even a cicada or some insect that falls in the water. And the sound draws them to it, and then the size, I think, makes it an easy meal. The bigger divers create that bigger disturbance, and it's good, but sometimes I think it's a little bit overkill on the pressured water that I normally am fishing. So smaller is a little bit more subtle plop. Seems to attract them a little bit better. Let's clean up our butts. Hit it with the toothbrush if I can find the toothbrush. Is there a toothbrush in here? Guess we'll skip the brush. Let's stack our first clump. Because we want that collar to look good, nice and even, so we'll give that a stack. And then we'll give this bunch, we'll spin this one in. And then maybe a little bit longer than usual for this back section. 1 loose wrap, 2 loose wraps, tension, it'll spin. That's nice. And let's fit in, we'll do black inside. Healthy clump. I don't think we need to stack this bunch. So the most buoyant part is the butts, because they're hollow. But then the tips, you tie in the tips, it's not going to float as well. And so I need to decide if I want this part of the collar or if I want to trim off the tips and just use the butts. I think some of it will be part of the collar. There'll be plenty of hair. I'm not worried about flotation too much. So we'll time this similar to that first bunch. Crank down, and we stack that bit up there. Let's do one more wrap, and then we'll create a little landing zone here, and we'll tie in another bunch on the bottom. Bottom gets trimmed down pretty tight. So I'm not going to do it as heavy as I do the top. And then I'm not going to worry about stacking the bottom. It's going to get cut pretty close. Okay. Then let's preen everything. Tension before we advance. Two wraps to lock it. I'm going to tie in a bunch, and then we'll start packing it in. Orange again. Clean it up. We'll spin this one. That looks okay. Then we'll do stack in a bunch of black and then maybe a little accent to make it look good. Okay, and then maybe a little dot of orange, a little artistic flair. Let's flip it. We'll add stack black and then a little dot of orange. Repeat. Scissors are getting pretty dull. Tight. Little dot of orange. Okay, keep the tension. Advance the thread. Now we'll pack. We don't want to mess up our legs, so we want to grab those legs and then we'll pack it in. You could add your rubber legs while you're tying in the hair, and might be smart, but this is a smaller bug, so I'm gonna tie in my hair, then I'm gonna place my rubber legs in the after I trim. But you gotta be careful when you do it. Okay, now let's switch it up. Let's go black, and then let's spin black, and then orange. Let's switch it up. One loose wrap, two, and spin. That's good. The hook is getting loose. We'll stack in some orange. Nice clump. And then we'll put a black dot. Stack the orange. And then black dot. If we have any space left, we will use a little bit of black. If we have any space left. I want to do the mouse diver again. I have an idea for the mouse diver, so I want to try that one again. Maybe we'll have time today. Tight, tight, tight. A little dot of black. Nice and tight. Let's find the hook eye. Hack a little and advance the thread, kind of teasing it through the hair. Oh wow. How do we get so loose here? Pack one more time. There's a little bit of space left, but I'm not going to play with it. I'm just going to tie off now. There's plenty of hair on there. Cinch that down, trim that out. Before we start trimming, we want to make sure that our hair is sitting, that it hasn't spun around too much, sitting where we want it to be sitting. I think it looks good. The game plan for the diver, we're gonna trim out the face first, and then we want that collar to be prominent. So we're gonna be real careful as we advance on that collar. But I guess the first cut is actually the bottom. The bottom cut will be the first cut. How are we looking? Yeah, okay. Slight bend in the razor blade and just scoot it along the bottom. Scoot, scoot, scoot. And let's scoot it more. And check out our pattern. Our pattern is not that cool. Definitely not professional grade deer hair work here. I think that's enough hook exposed. Now let's come up with, on the face, some shortcuts on the sides. Then let's come up in front, a little bit more on the sides. I think that's enough for the face. It's about as deep as we want to go. And now we will knock out that collar. Just try to go swoop back as clean as possible. You have to break out the scissors at some point. Okay. Now the width. Like right now we have a really wide bug. We don't want it this wide, so we're gonna have to take down some of the sides. But as you take down some of the side, you'll have to take down some of the face. So you kind of have to keep in mind how big of a bug you want. Let's check under, that looks okay. That looks okay. Let's take down the top a little bit more. got a little stubby tail with a big body. But the tail is just cosmetic, I think. Almost there. Let's use our scissors and clean up some of these strays toward the back. Got a lot of strays toward the back. This side needs to be taken down a bit. Narrow that out. More. Okay. And then the top needs to be taken down. I normally do this with in my hand. I don't usually cut on the vise, so making it a little bit trickier. You need a good vacuum. This is messy. All right, let's clean up the head. Almost there. This side needs to be taken down a little bit more. Looks okay. And then the back taper needs to work. Been keeping these tail sections of the hair, but we're gonna have to sacrifice them. We'll try to keep some, but most are gonna go. The hood's a little tall. You could knock it down. This is gonna have a pretty big pop. If you cut it down shorter, it would be a little bit more subtle, but we'll just keep it big for now. Let's clean up the bottom a bit. Keep a few of the, all right. This is the trickiest part, is gonna be adding the legs. You could thread the legs in with a needle. I'm not real good at that. So my plan is to just place them in, but you get this gap, and so you have to place it, and then while the glue is still a little bit wet, you have to massage it back together. It's tricky. I'm just seeing where the placement should be. And if I should take down any more of this hair. It's a little bit wider than I want it, but I feel like if I mess with it more, it's could go completely bonkers. So we'll just try to dance with it. Okay. Let's try to create a little bit of separation. Packed it a little tight, so it's not getting good separation. What do I do? Gotta risk it. This is not the bottle I want. Okay. Yeah, it looks okay. I don't want them, I want it slightly above the bottom. And what I'm gonna do, I'm happy with that placement, so now I'm gonna just get a toothpick and I'm gonna put a drop of glue on each side. Try where I want the leg to stop is what I'm going for. Then I kind of massage it back together. There's much better technique. I think the threading, if you're a proficient tire, the threading technique is probably the most ideal. This is a cheating technique. And then maybe one drop on top. Too much on top will create this a really hard surface. Then, those guys aren't going anywhere, so that's good. Let's clean up this bottom a little bit here. That's good. I don't think this needs eyes, so we're not going to put eyes on it. I did want to kind of knot. I've never done this before, but like knot it so they kind of sweep back. But now I think about that, I'm looking at this, I'm not going to do that. I'll just take them down. Here. This one's pointing down a little bit, but looks okay. Got a stubby little tail. But the most important part is this head to the hood transition. And it's nice. It'll have good action. Let me look from the bottom side here. Not 100% even. It's a little bit better. And this bottom needs to be cleaned up just a bit. There, that's better. All right. Maybe we'll try to do one more. Let's check the time. Yeah, cute little bass bug. Or big old bream. Could get some bluegill on this guy too. Okay. Finished. Let's get one more. This one will be a little bit bigger. Not much bigger, a little bit bigger. And then we'll make our tail. Do purple tail. This is synthetic hair. Cut some of that out, and then we'll do few strands of polar flash. And then, whoa, try to even that out as best we can. I dropped it. We'll furl this, try to get it 50-50. The polar flash is pretty short. I don't know how much of it we're gonna get. Might have to skip the polar flash or just do polar flash on one end like this. Then we'll have to secure the end with a little glue. Furling the hair. I just want a little bit of sparkle in the tail. If we lose some of the polar flash, it's not a big deal. And try, the tail doesn't need to be super long. Let it furl on itself. Not a great furl by any means, but I think it'd be good enough for a tail. And then, oh, that's a long tail. That's more than enough. We did a great job. Maybe like that. Turn it off. Put a drop of glue at the end. And keep it from coming apart. And kind of massage it in. I see the ends of the flash. Eventually we'll lose those pieces. But hopefully we get enough in there. A little bit of flash. Okay, so my idea was to wrap. So this is going to be hair, this is going to be foam. Oh, I could just do all foam. Yeah, maybe we'll do all foam. But still, this is necessary. We'll try all foam. And then we'll wrap this foam just like this. No more than that. And then we will try to go over it with some hair. I wanted to wrap the hair, but I might not be able to. We'll try. The wrap might have to be behind the foam. Let's put a little glue on the foam so it sticks to itself. A little bit of glue. And then we will tying it off would be best. was just gonna cut it, but tying it off would be best. It's not gonna be very clean looking. A little bit messy. It'd be nice to get the hair right on the top of that foam. I think that would be ideal. Let's see if we can do it. We have to clean that hair up too. So put a little glue on the foam, or the hide rather, and then we'll wrap it around the foam. Then we'll try to tie it out if we can. It's a lot of hair. Okay. Should have used a bigger hook. I have to shorten this up. That looks kind of mousy. 3 foam discs. 3 foam discs. So let's cut 3 foam squares. That's 1. 2, 3. 3 foam squares. Let's make foam disc. I think the top one has to be bigger than the bottom. It's gonna get shaved down a bit. But now that I have this hair on there, I don't need it to be that big. It should be half this size actually. And then we'll round this out. It's tiny. I should have made it bigger. Let's tie this off. It's got to be bigger than that. Because the size is hard, I'm gonna oversize it and then trim as we go. Let's even that out before we glue it on. And then I'm gonna put the glue just toward the bottom and then the front side. So I don't get any glue on the hair. And I want the front side pinched together. I don't really care about the back. The bottom and the front is what I care about. I have no idea how this is going to turn out. So another oblong circle here. Oh, that looks good. I was worried about space. Let's knock that down a bit. And then we'll try to close that gap. Hopefully it sets. Yeah. Okay. And then let's place this. Yep. Just a little bit of glue on the front and then the sides. That's too much. That's too much. Okay. This placement is important. Should be center. Try to push that nose down as much as you can. What gives me hope is that that underside looks decent. The underside looks decent, so there's a little bit of hair on the lens. And then one more piece of foam to get a kind of a diving head. So and cut out like an oblong shape that's smaller than the first. No, it has to be smaller than that. I hate to go smaller, but I think it should be. Can't be, but it has to be narrow, or shouldn't be any more narrow, but it should be smaller. Yep. We're crowding the hook eye, so I'm going to take that tip off. And and then just the smallest amount of glue toward the front and the side. And the placement has to be perfect. Okay. Push that back as much as we can, and now hit the sides. Squeeze. Let's get that side down a bit. Yep, should have done a bigger hook. Should have done a bigger hook. And then we could have used the full tail. Right now we're pulling material off because the hook is too small. But it'll have a diving action. It'll fish. It'll fish. How well, I don't know. But it'll fish. Let's throw on some eyes just because we have the space. Eyes on the left hand. It'll drop on the edge. Set the eye. Position. That back end with the fur on over it, I gotta work on that. That thing was almost a disaster. But the head is nice and wide. It's got a good slope down. The hook eye is exposed, which is nice. The symmetry of the two foam flaps is good. It'll have action. The fur will have good action in the water. So maybe it has potential. Just the overall symmetry is a bit off with the tail and the body and everything. The fur kind of extends the body out, which is nice. But it should have been a bigger hook. You could clear coat it or do some other stuff with it, but I think we're gonna call it good. Little diving mouse with this purple sparkle tail. And then we did a little deer hair diver with a stubby grizzly hackled tail and some round rubber legs. Those were today's ties. All right, we are finished. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Whoa, maybe there's some comments. Maybe we'll read some comments. I don't know if there are any comments because I haven't looked. But we'll swing it around here. Aha, there are comments. What's What's the name of this fly? This fly has no name. I just made it up. I'm doing well. Thank you, Owen. Thank you, Alexander. Owen's got his American flag going. Very patriotic. The deer hair one's called the Dahlberg diver. This is the what the greatest warm water bass pattern ever invented by Larry Dahlberg. Nothing compares to the Dahlberg diver in terms of bass fishing. Premier. Okay.